Welcome back to Soul Spark Vibes. My name is Gin, and this is Sophia, and we are here on a mission to spark your soul so that you can ignite your best life. And today we're going to be talking about physical fitness and how that kind of ties into spirituality and just the importance of having a physical practice that goes along with like the spiritual and mental practice. And so it's interesting because I had like a huge revelation in my own world, right? Like that's kind of big. But anyway, realization, revelation. Um, Not so long ago, just like a few months back. So in September, August or September, I ended up moving to my friend's place. Sorry, camera's a little trying to get an all right view over here. So I ended up going and staying at my friend's house in Colorado at the end of August of last year, and during that time, like really I've been working on my connection, my higher connection for like quite some time, a few years now. But like at the end of August, July is actually when it started. But at the end of August, it was like I like hammered down, and I was like, I just started like with this affirmation to help me become a more clear channel, so that I could really just yeah be a conduit for whatever needs to come through me.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it was amazing because my friend who I was living with, she's a fitness coach, so she's like personal trainer, and so she has a gym in her basement, and I got really into a physical practice as well, like very routine. I'm routine oriented anyway, so it was like get up like and work out. It was like more intense workouts than I've ever gotten into, and it was really cool because um I guess it was the end of October I got into Reiki, and like that's like when my energy work really started picking up, which I didn't even really think about that from like the beginning of September to the end of October. It was really like just becoming the conduit, and then it was the end of October where it was like, cool, I'm ready to take the next step in my energy practices. And I was walking past a jujitsu gym, and I started talking to this guy who worked there, and he was talking about his girlfriend because we started talking about Reiki and energy work, and he was like, "Oh yeah, my girlfriend's very into that." And he was like, he was saying how amazing it is that his girlfriend is able to introduce him to this new world, and how he's also able to introduce her to a new world where she's introducing him to like the more spiritual, esoteric things, and he's bringing her down and like not bringing her down, but like grounding, or like introducing a very grounding practice, a physical like jujitsu practice. And it was in that moment that I realized how important both having a balance between both are. And I guess it goes back to like a couple years ago. I had this whole thing where it was like I had to strengthen my ability to be the kite and the anchor, meaning the one who conceives the ideas and implements like and kind of grounds them into this reality.
Ah.
Is not what I like to do. Not like I want to be the kite. Like I want to be the idea person. That's where I feel more comfortable. But it was something that I needed to balance, and it was amazing because that with this conversation that I had with this gentleman, it helped me visualize the importance of grounding yourself and having a consistent physical routine while practicing the spirituality, because you can't really have one without the other. And some people are very lucky. I say very lucky. That's a subjective view because I had to go through a lot by myself, and some people have a journey of self realization, and others have a journey like a partnership of realization. And that's kind of like along the lines of where this kid was that I was talking to, where his journey was one of partnership, where it was like the top and the bottom coming together. And some people have a more individualized where it's like you have the ideas, but you need to ground, like you have a spiritual practice, but you need to ground. And yeah, I think that it's super important. So sorry, that was kind of like a long-winded entry story, but I think it's super important to have both. Otherwise, you get lost in one or the other. I say you. Obviously I mean me. Like this is a very. I get lost in one or the other. I can float the fuck away, or I can get way too bogged down by like the day to day tasks. So like yeah, Sophia, I want to open up the floor to you because in my mind that's like a moderation, but I want to hear like what you kind of have your thoughts on this.
No, I totally agree. I believe for me, my energy is built off of my I mean, and excuse me if this sounds like kindergarten or whatever, but I've come to the realization too that my energy to do spiritual practice or to connect with the invisible realms or any of my psychic centers is built off of my physical body. That's our vessel, right? That's the machine we get to use here in this earth that we live on. So I noticed like I got really into physical fitness myself prior to my spiritual awakening, but like as I evolved and learned more about the psychic centers and the body and how to build energy and whatever. Because in the past, I would use like supplements, like I would drink coffee or I would take Adderalls or I would take even like painkillers because they gave me that rush and then I was more talkative and stuff like that. So I always thought I needed something for energy. So my biggest thing, my biggest takeaway about exercise and really diet too is like super critical. Probably a talk for another day, but was building my own physical, my own energy. So I started prior to my spiritual awakening. I would go to the gym, like an hour a day and do cardio, and it helped with weight loss and maintaining a weight. But now, lately, I've been really keen on stretching and targeting the spinal cord in particular, and opening up channels of energy that we can't see but are definitely there. So I focus on certain areas, and every day I stretch for like a long time. Like I stretch in the morning before after I get out of bed. I stretch before I go to bed. I work in a physically demanding atmosphere, so I stretch throughout. Also because I had an injury one time from not stretching, but it helps. I feel like it spreads my energy, the energy you can't see, obviously, that's produced by your muscles. Like say you squeeze you flex your muscle here, like you can't see it, but there's energy coming out of this muscle as I flex it, because I'm using my mind to tell my body to use this muscle, and it's all energetically doing it. It's invisible, like you could see me doing this, but the energy that's sent here from my brain, you can't see. So that's the energy I'm talking about, the energy that you can't see, that it's intentional. So I do a lot of exercises that I think would be really beneficial for people who want to start building their psychic connection with their body through these invisible energy channels. So there's this thing, many people do this, but and there's tons of different names for it, but like I'll start at my feet and I think of my feet. And I think of my feet, like you can pick a color if you need healing, maybe like a green color, or if you're just doing this the first time, maybe a bright white color or gold or whatever color you want. I mean, have fun with it. And you imagine your feet, or start with your toes, the tip of your toes, turning into that color. And then slowly but surely go through the sole of your foot, the heel of your foot, your ankle. And you build this psychic energy and the connection between your mind and your muscle and bone. Even you can feel the bone in your big toe if you focus hard enough. So that's my connection. I know it's not per se exercise, but I mean we could talk about any type of exercise. In this case, we could talk about other exercise. But I went from being like a gym rat to really yoga, a lot of yoga, stretching, and building of my psychic energy. So now, and then I also weight lift. But I think it's all really, in my experience, it's been really, really beneficial in building the connection between my mind and body. And that is spirituality. It isn't just the mind, like you were saying. It's so much more.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like, I think a lot of the time we think about exercise as a physical practice, like with our physical body, but it can also very much be mental practices. Um, and I like the idea of the skin and seeing the different colors and everything. Like that is a mental practice that would be incredibly beneficial. Um, Another thing I thought about a couple of things while you were speaking, Sophia, but um, something that came to mind for as a suggestion for people who listening who might be interested in kind of like exploring more of the physical aspect of the energetic bodies and everything. Yoga with Adriene on YouTube. She does free YouTube videos, and she has like every year January she does a 30-day challenge, yoga challenge or yoga journey, and they're super beneficial. And the way that she integrates the body and the breath and the movement and the mind and everything, it's a really cool way to kind of get into that thought process, because I think from I guess from my my journey in particular, it took me a while to really understand the concept of the mind, body, spirit.
Mm.
Because, like, and you hear it, like, I think, like, a lot of people hear it and they're like, yeah, mind, body, spirit, it's the Trinity, it's this. And I have to say, like, it took some, like, oddly profound experiences for me to actually connect the body and the mind. And so I don't want to like call anybody out. I know I do this a lot, and I know a lot of people who do it, but a lot of people overestimate what they are capable of, or like their knowledge. I like literally, not trying to call anybody out. I do this all of the time. But when it comes to the connection between the mind, body, and spirit, I don't think that you can practice or exercise enough in any way that you see that. And even like, I think that we've mentioned this in other workouts, probably the meditation workout, or I'm sorry, podcast videos. Um, but taking something that you do every day, like physically working out, and make that a meditative practice where you're focusing on your breath, and that's like a good way to kind of get to. I don't want to say kill two birds because I don't want to kill birds, but but it's a way to get like double benefits, like where you're working out and you turn it into a meditative practice, which turns it into a mentally strengthening process as well as a physically strengthening.
Cool. Yeah.
I don't
So
know, man.
no, another thing, another highlight of exercise as far as spirituality goes is feeling the best about yourself. Like, I'm not saying that you have to be any certain weight or whatever, but like it's scientifically proven that your body releases endorphins and all types of chemical processes that you go through, like equivalent to smoking a cigarette or whatever after a workout. So it's really good for your overall health, I believe. And when you feel good, you think better, you feel better, you're more open, your mind is more expanded, and you're not, stressing or anxious about stuff when you feel good and you feel like you've accomplished something. So that's another reason why I like to exercise a lot, is because it makes me feel good. And then I'm a better person and better to the people around me, which goes hand in hand with my spirit and keeping my spirits high. And yeah, I love exercise. I thought it'd be a good thing to highlight today as far as your spiritual journey, and making it putting it of high importance, if you'd like to explore that. And if not, that's cool too. But I think it really opens up doorways for spiritual growth in really profound ways.
Incredibly profound ways. Yeah, I honestly like. I can't stress enough how much physical activity has helped me, like on my personal experience, like even mentally, like I feel like I'm here to do really big things. And I'll never forget, I was in Maui and there's this cross hike, and it's like a vertical hike. It's wild. And I did it the one day and it was like, it wasn't really enjoyable. It was rough, but it was a great workout. So like the next day or 2 days later or something like that, I was like, cool, I'm just gonna go do this, and then I was like, gonna jump in the ocean, or whatever. And I literally got like 15 feet up, and it's just vertical, like right from the get go. And I was just like, I don't want to fucking do this. I was like, I have no interest in doing this, and I stopped. Right, like I was just like, this, like I know what I'm getting myself into right now, and like why would I do this to myself? And I stopped, and it was just like I stopped, and I had like a real heart to heart with myself. It was like, Jen, you're here to do really fucking big things in this world, and it's not always going to be easy. Like, if I can't push myself to the top of a mountain, like how am I going to push myself through like societal structures that have been put in place? Like that, I feel like this is my journey. Like this is what I feel like I'm here to do, is like push the social norms and push the structures that have been put in place. Like I can't fucking get my ass up a 2 mile hill. Like how am I going to be able to physically, mentally, emotionally take on something that big, And I got my ass to the top of that hill, and I did every day for the rest of that week under that mindset, like, yo, I'm going to help change the fucking world. And as silly as it seems, me getting to the top of this mountain is going to help me do that, because if nothing else, it's going to prove to me that I could do difficult things and I can persevere through things that I don't want to do, but I know are beneficial for me, you know?
Yeah, that's a really actually I'm really happy you brought that up because I believe that challenging yourself brings um the greatest amounts of satisfaction and lessons. There's lessons in everything we do. That's a really great point, Jen. I'm so happy you brought that up because there's been a million times where I don't want to keep going. I don't want to keep working out, but then I'll be like, because I don't want to let myself down. I trust myself so much more now than I did growing up or whatever. So I don't want to let myself down. And when you don't want to let yourself down, you keep trying hard and you prove to yourself that you're capable of things. Like you said, that was a perfect example. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. I'm glad that resonated with
Yeah,
you.
it
You know,
did a lot because I feel like I've been there. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
not in the same sense where but yeah.
yeah, but very much so. It's a relatively across the board kind of. It's just really a mind hurdle that people have to do, and everybody comes up against obstacles in their life. So kind of like priming yourself to be able to respond instead of react when obstacles come your way. I think that being physical really helps with that. And actually, so this, well, I mean, it's a practice. It's totally a practice. I'm gonna throw it out there because it does have to do with physicality and like how maybe not so much a spiritual aspect, but I do think spiritual aspect. So our our humanness, we operate in sympathetic nervous system, or like certain sympathetic response or parasympathetic response. Um, and cold showers is really like what I want to bring up here because cold showers changed my life. I started taking
Me
cold
too,
showers in
actually.
February, like in February of
Yeah.
2020, and it was like, and living in Denver, right? Like nobody wants to jump into cold water in the middle of fucking winter in Colorado. But it was perfect because having the cold water like come down, it instigates that sympathetic nervous system, which means that all of your fight or flight instincts are now like fully at peak, right? So like you're breathing shallow, your heart's racing, your autonomic responses kind of like slow down. Um, and so getting into a cold shower, having the cold water hit you, and having this whole systematic reaction internally, it teaches. What it taught me was like how to breathe through a situation that I have an elevated heart rate and I'm sweaty. And, like an uncomfortable situation comes up, and like I can breathe through it now because of cold showers, which kind of like it maybe doesn't seem so relevant, but it's like got a huge parallel when it comes to training training ourselves because it's really what it comes down to is like, yeah, how do we respond, um and how do we better adapt how we respond to situations. I don't know, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally. It's hard. It's hard to do, and I love doing hard things. And I might just be a nut or whatever, but it's made me so much of it builds self discipline and it builds yourself. I mean, mastery of yourself, and that's in theory all that we can master is ourselves, not others and whatever. So, and that's a part of spiritual growth as well. I believe is just learning those lessons. So yeah, it's hard to do. Taking cold showers is really hard to do, like you said, like especially when you have the option. But I've been getting into I've been taking cold showers myself actually, which is like a thing. It's not just it's hard to do. I suggest anybody listening or watching go out there and try it. Like it's really invigorating too, and it is the same type of response that you would get when you hit a brick wall. Like when you're on mile 3 of your jog and your house is right there, and you're like, oh, I could stop, but I told myself I was going to do 4 miles. Like that same push to get your ass in a cold shower is the same push at the same you would think that's going to get you to finish that last mile for yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know like my mantra during like the time period because I don't really take them now. I'll share what I do now. But I when I first like I was regularly taking cold showers, like every shower was a cold shower. It was I would sit there and I would just be like this sucks. I was like, I hate this. I don't want to do this, but I can breathe through anything. It was like, I'm not excited about this, but I can breathe through it. Like, life is about taking on things that you don't want to do until you get to the things that you do want to do. But like, you have to push through uncomfortability and different obstacles that you don't want to have to deal with. And not dealing with them is how you get caught in a cycle. So it's like, how can we help build ourselves up and support ourselves and have enough confidence in ourselves to be able to push through those difficult situations. And I think what you said about like knowing ourselves, like coming back to ourselves, is really like what it is all about. It's all about like us. And yeah, we can totally. There was something else I was going to say on that, and I can't remember what it was. But I mean that's probably a topic for a whole nother episode as well. Like, how did you put it? Like coming back to you,
Mastery
right?
of
Is that what you said?
mastery of yourself. Yeah.
Mastery of self. Yes. Yeah, I knew
Yes.
it was a little more elegant
Yeah,
than
it's
actually, I think
major,
that's
and I
a.
think exercise. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say I think that's a. Who is it? Miguel Luis, Mastery of Self, the one who did the four agreements.
I'm not
I
sure,
think
but I
it's
know
Mastery of
in like
Self.
I go to these classes that we've talked about before, and it's a major. I mean, it's everything. It's the only yeah, it's everything is mastery of yourself, and I think exercise is a really good way, especially push not just exercise, but pushing yourself past limits, and is a really good way to start or have some form of mastery over yourself, mastery of your mind, mastery of your will, your self discipline, and keep challenging yourself. I would suggest you keep challenging yourself. I try to challenge myself every day. Like I do craziness. Like lately I've been obsessed with building my left hand. I'm playing piano and guitar, and also I'm working on building my feminine energy, my feminine side, which is typically the left side. So I've been forcing myself to use my left hand as much as possible. So it sucks, but even like try using your non-dominant hand to like use a tape gun, or like do besides writing is difficult, but it's baby steps that I'm building, and I like to challenge myself. So that I suggest, it's a really great feeling for me. So if there's any way you can challenge yourself as far as exercise goes, I suggest you do that today, even if it's just a little bit, and you build on it. It's all baby steps. Like this left hand thing, it's like I can't just like write with my left hand in one day and expect myself to have perfect penmanship, but it's building, it's getting better, and I'll be ambidextrous. I am ambidextrous, but like I'm proud of myself. It's a great feeling to put yourself to the test, and exercise is a great way to do that, I think. And I struggle with exercise myself, and I have a really high amount of energy, and I'm not lazy at all, but it's like stuff you don't want to, it's like I don't want to do it. Like if I was stranded on an island and we had to like create stuff, like build houses and move trees and whatever, I'm in there. Like I no way, no doubt, like will I be a super good amount of help. But like if just to go to the gym and like lift weights, it's like I don't wanna. But so I have to like change my mindset. That might be a good some good advice actually, or suggestion for anybody who's not gone to the gym or who doesn't exercise, is just try to switch your mindset. Pretend you're on the island, like, and you're moving some logs for some, I don't know, dude, like whatever you got to do. I like listening to music. I listen to a lot. I jam out when I work out. It helps a lot. Music is therapy. Thank God for music and patterns and beautiful harmony. But really, it could get like if you listen to like some Jersey club music, forget about it. You can go for hours.
That sounds fucking awful, dude.
I love it. I love
I
it.
totally listen. I totally listen to podcasts and stuff while I'm working out. Though somebody I told somebody that they were like, "You're a fucking psycho." They were like, "Who listens to ebooks while they work out?" I was like, "Yeah, I love like just absorbing a bunch of knowledge."
Yeah, no,
Um,
I feel you. I do that sometimes myself.
yeah, yeah. No, it's cool though.
Or
And
even a
yeah,
Netflix episode. I mean, whatever to get you through it. But
whatever
highly
works.
suggest it's invigorating.
I do workout videos on YouTube. So I'll like throw YouTube up on my computer and like on my phone I'll throw like an audiobook or podcast or something in. But it's like a 40 minute, well, depending, you get like a 10-15 minute video to follow. Just to like get just, and it doesn't even, so okay, so what really got me into building a routine, right? Like one piece of the one tip that I heard that pushed me enough to build my routine. Like now I'm at a point where like it's almost automatic response for me to get up and go to the gym. But it didn't like that was not how I started off. But the like the one piece of advice or one tip that I heard was from this kid who does like calisthenic videos on YouTube, and it was like something about getting a six pack, right? And he was just like everybody wants a six pack, and so many people are deterred because they think that they have to like be in the gym all day and like be working out nonstop. And he was like, you don't have to do any of that. Like he was like, if you can dedicate 20 minutes a day consistently, like your body will change, and like a byproduct of that will be like a leaner physique. Like yes, okay, cool. Six pack would be awesome. Like that's not actually what I'm going for anymore. I'm going more for the functional abs, which probably hopefully a six pack follows. But but it was literally like just understanding that like a simple 20 minutes a day can make all of the difference. It doesn't need to be 40 minutes to an hour. Like now at this point, like I enjoy 40 minutes to an hour of like working out and moving and using weights and stuff like that. But like getting into it, it was like 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night. I was not sitting around and like doing stuff, but that built the foundation to where I am now, which is amazing. And a lot like you, Sophia, like I feel better, like I operate better when I feel good about myself. And I don't know if that's everybody. I know that like I have a lot of Leo in my chart, so a lot of like what I'm here to do is like actually master the self. Like that is Leo is like the planet of like self. It's individualization, right? Like, um, but yeah, I operate completely different when I'm feeling good about myself. So literally, if it's even like a few minutes a day to start off, like do it. It doesn't need to be anything crazy, but I can guarantee that yeah, if anybody wanted to give it a shot and practice like consistency with it, it would change. It changes lives. It changes lives just being physically fit. So
Just to add before we hop off for the day, there's tons of apps out there too. So if you're like if you're into the technology, if you like to use your phone, there's tons of apps out there that can help you as far as stretching, yoga, exercises. If you want to target certain areas, I know people are like crazy about growing their glutes or whatever, or like the six pack. Like there's different apps you can target, so it makes it really easy too. Just to get started, a couple minutes a day. I think that's great advice, Jen, because it's doable for those who want to.
yeah, yeah, cool. Well, this is awesome. And also, like one last thing is there are different ways to get different workouts, but there are also different modalities, right? Like so you could do actual like fitness, like working out. You could do yoga. There's like jujitsu. You have the like kung fu, like different stuff like that, like dancing. All of these are just getting your body moving and flowing the energy. It has everything to do with like flowing the energy, like getting things moving. And yeah, so find what you like, find what you like, and explore it a little bit. And
Yeah,
cool.
cool.
All right. Well, let us know in the comments if you do already have like a physical fitness routine or any exercise routine when it comes like to mental. What do you do physically to help you prepare for things mentally? Let us know. Let us know. I'd love to hear it.
And how it affects your spirituality. If you have any cool examples and connections that we can share, that'd be great.
Absolutely. All right. Well, until next week, everybody, have a great day. See you later.
Bye.